journey. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to those of you who are thinking about writing your memoir. You've got this story to tell, some things that you've overcome or have been triumphant in, and you're thinking about maybe putting pen to paper and sharing your story. So I'm going to give you a couple of points, some tips and some suggestions to kind of help you get going. As a writer, I know sometimes I get a writer's block, and it is so helpful. Like when someone comes along and throws me a bone, throws that hint, and it just wakes me up. It's like color on gray paper. So I'm hoping to be that catalyst for you. I'm hoping to be that red crayon across just a plain white sheet of paper that can help stimulate your creativity. So you want to write a memoir. You've got a story of, something you've healed from. Can be physical healing, can be mental healing, emotional healing, relationship healing. And it's it was such an experience for you. And you know that it wasn't just for you, that you survived it for you, but to also pay it forward and help someone else through that journey. So it can be a story about your healing journey. It can be an inspirational, how you launched a multi-million-dollar corporation, or how you ended up owning several McDonald's franchises or what have you. What did you do? How did you pull yourself up from the bootstraps? And, what were some of your challenges? Or you may want to leave a legacy for your family. If you have a very large family and a lot of rich history, and maybe you're one of those elders, and you kind of know the family secrets, why not put those in a book and just talk about great grandmom and uncle so-and-so, and talk about some of the challenges that were evident in the family, how they overcame them, and, who all was raised, and just kind of building that family dynasty and passing it on to your family, right? So those are just a few reasons why people write memoirs. They got a story to tell. They don't want to take it to the grave with them. They don't want to leave it, on the shelf. They actually want to share it out with someone else. It is a story, a journey that needs to be shared. And so if that's where you are, I want to help you along with that. So the first thing you want to do is identify your audience. I always talk about that. Every writer, every author has to be mindful of their audience. So if you're writing your family legacy, then you can be more relaxed and maybe in some of your writing, it doesn't have to be so formal. But if you're writing an inspirational journey, your career journey, then of course it's going to be more professional, because your audience is going to be other business owners or those who are, endeavoring to launch into business. A healing journey, it's going to be a little bit more casual as well, right? And more emotional, and it's going to be more creative in terms of expressing how you feel. So there's some vulnerability that you've got to show there. So think about your audience. What is the experience you want your readers to have with your book? Do you want them to walk away with knowledge? Do you want them to walk away feeling more connected? Or do you want them to walk away feeling empowered? And then that's how you sort of incorporate your writing theme surrounding who your audience is. Find your voice. Again, first of all, you identify your audience, you clarify why you're writing, and then find your voice. If you're writing a legacy memoir, sort of like a family jewels, family history, then you're going to speak very natural. You're going to use nicknames and family names and pet names, whereas you wouldn't do that if you were writing some type of inspirational book. You're going to be use more proper names. So you want to speak and be very authentic. Make your story real, because it's your life, not someone else's life. You want your readers rather, to feel you, to know, when they finish reading your book, they should feel like they know you, like you all went out to dinner together. So you want to be authentic. Think about the tone that you want in your memoir. Is it going to be humorous, where you're talking about Christmas time, some funny things that happen, or maybe some sad things that happen? So think about the tone, think about the mood that you're going to set for your book, because that is what your readers are going to pick up. So is it humorous? Is it going to be more somber, reflective, or is it going to be a combination of things? Like it's kind of going to be like a little buffet, a little mind buffet for your readers. All right. Next, you want to focus on your key themes. Now you've identified the type of memoir. It's a legacy memoir. It's a inspirational memoir, or it's a healing journey memoir. So then, did you overcome something? What is it that you overcame? Why was it so hard for you to overcome it? Who helped you overcome it? Why did you end up having to overcome it in the first place? Like, ask yourself some questions surrounding your key theme. For those of you writing inspirational memoirs, how you pulled yourself up and you've mastered this wealth, or mastered this art, or you've mastered this space and time, or what have you, then it's going to be more of a personal growth. And so again, what was it? What were your struggles? How did you overcome, or how did you navigate launching a business with no capital investment? How did you navigate launching this, empire without any help, or as being a single mom or being a single dad? Like, talk about those triumphs, but also talk about those low places that you had to kind of climb up from, that you had to evolve and grow through. So you want to talk about personal growth, and then exploring your identity. Like, the person that was starting out is not the person that you are today. So what were the steps, or what were the processes that graduated you from the person who started out with the vision, with the plan, to this very confident, bold, successful, person that you are now? So, talk about that personal journey, that personal growth, and how you explored how did your identity unfold to where you are now, to where you don't mind sharing your story with others. What was that like? What did it take for you to get from there to here? And then you want to include stories and experiences, not just be monotonous. Well, when I was 12, I went to so-and-so high school. I wasn't very popular, but I knew one day I'd be great. So I just read a lot of books in the library. Like, that sounds so monotonous. So you want to, include stories. At the library, there was this librarian. Her name was Miss Cookie. And Miss Cookie would always have cookies. And so that really wasn't her real name. That's what I named her. And, if I read 10 books, she'd give me a pack of cookies. Or, use those types of experiences to draw your readers in and to connect them with that part of your journey. Leave out the irrelevant details. We don't need to know that it rained so much that your boots got soaked and you had to throw them away. Like that may be irrelevant depending on the type of book that you're writing. And then again, it may be very important if that was your only pair of shoes. So you get to decide, what's important, what's not important, how you can build very rich and enriching reader experience, and by incorporating stories and making them lively and filled with character development, and your settings for your rooms or your schools or wherever you are, your plot, you want to, what I'm saying, you want to be able to really thicken that up and just draw your readers into where they don't want to put your book down. What is your story structure going to be like? Is it going to be chronological? Or, like when I was 10 and then 15 and then chapter 5, I'm 20, or is it based upon themes and things that happen? So you're going to decide how to structure your memoir. You're going to decide what is shared first. You may want to start from the end and then walk your way to the beginning, and that's okay. But you just need to develop that out. But just make sure, however you decide to structure your story, that is engaging. Remember, the first time first of all, your cover is going to draw them. The name of your book is going to draw them in, and kind of the book summary is going to draw them in. But when they open that book and they read those first few pages, that's going to be the determining factor over whether they finish that book or lay it down and it just collects dust. So you want to make it, very compelling. As soon as they pick up the book, I was running for my life. I had no idea that this person who I love would treat me like this. The lights were dark. My car battery died. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to grab them and just throw them into your story to where they don't want to come out. Okay. So use very detailed descriptions so that it can enhance your storytelling, but just don't overdo it. Don't get stuck in overdoing the details. Use very, very descriptive language, because again, it's your memoir, it's your life story, and what may have been very interesting and intriguing to you may not be to your reader. So you're going to use very descriptive language, because you're going to have to paint this picture about your life, and again, draw them into where you were and how you got to where you were to where you are now. So being very descriptive of the people, like I said, Miss Cookie or your crazy ex or what have you, be very descriptive. Be very descriptive of the places. The library downtown smelled like old books. It smelled damp. However, the lounge was bright and colorful and the snacks, were always fresh or what have you. Being very descriptive. Okay. Sounds, smells, tastes, and textures. Also your dialogue. Give your characters a voice. Give them something to say. Give Miss Cookie an attitude. If it's an authentic thing. It's your memoir. It's true. So it's fiction, nonfiction. So it needs to be true. But, give your readers, build her character so that by the time they're done reading, they feel like they know Miss Cookie. They feel like they know Mr. Ben from around the corner that fixes everybody's car and leaves a root beer on the top of the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want them to know your people like they knew your people. So be very descriptive. Give your characters a voice. Give them, personalities. Give them emotions. The way they wear their clothes, the way that they talk to others, the way they treated you. Incorporate all of that in. Give them some good dialogue, and then be honest. If you had a low moment, when I received my exam, I was so discouraged. I just knew within my heart that I passed. And when when Miss Brown gave me my paper, I cried. And I tried to hold the tears in, and my eyes started burning. And so I ran out of the classroom into the bathroom, and I just sobbed in the stall by myself. Let them bring them in. Be vulnerable. Don't be ashamed to share your struggles or your challenges, because that's why you're writing it, to help someone else get through what you went through. So be vulnerable, because vulnerability in a memoir can be very powerful, and it helps relate the reader to you. So when you're done with all of that, first of all, here's what I do when I'm writing, books of that nature. I don't focus so much on writing, like polished writing. It doesn't have to have proper English grammar or what have you. I'm just trying to dump this thing out of my brain. I'm trying to pull it out. I'm trying to recall memories. I'm trying to recall. And so at that point, you're more focused on recalling memories and events and things that happened in the order of time that it happened, or who was impacted or how it impacted you. You're not so much worried about structure, sentence structure, and whether you got a paragraph straight. Just pull it out. And then when you get done with it, you can always reorganize and cut and paste if you're typing and you know what I'm saying? And put the puzzle pieces together. But initially, you don't want to bog yourself down in the details of making sure, well, did this happen first or did that happen first? Just pull it out. And then you can organize it, when you get to that point. Being a writer, you can rewrite your manuscript as many times as you need to. So don't ever feel like, I need to, maybe I need to go back over it. Go back over it. Because if you don't feel like you're done, then you're not done. And only you would know that. I wouldn't know that, or anyone else working in your book wouldn't know that. You will know when you can put the pen down and sit back and say, all right, that's done. But if you don't breathe that heavy sigh of relief, friend, you're not done. Go back in that book and keep adding to your details. Keep adding to the character. Keep adding to the places and the things and the smells. Keep adding to that until you're done. I mentioned in another talk about privacy and, respecting people's privacy. So you may need to be creative with the names of your characters to protect their identity. You don't want to put someone out there, even if they're passed away, if they're no longer living, they still have loved ones, right? So you want to respect people's privacy. You want to practice good ethics with your memoir, even though it's your story, but you still have a responsibility to your readers and to the people who were part of that you're making. So consider changing the names or obtain permission, get written permission, if you want to keep that character as is. Write on it and stay consistent. Give yourself goals. Have a friend who keeps you accountable and commit to writing an hour to 2 hours every day, right? Depending on what your finishing goal is. Commit to that. And so that because you got to keep, when you're pulling out memories, you want to keep momentum. Otherwise, you're going to get foggy and things are going to run together, and it's going to be really hard to kind of separate the wheat from the tares. So when you have the momentum and your heart is set and committed and your mind is made up, that's your noun season to write. So, give yourself 2 weeks, 3 months or what have you, and stick to it. Put it on your calendar, on your work calendar. Set some alarms, that you begin writing at 6 o'clock. I'm going to get done writing at 8, and be consistent with that. Depending on how intense your life experiences were, your memoir may be, it may be an undertaking. And so give yourself patience. Don't feel like you have to rush through it. Again, it's your work. If you don't breathe the sigh of relief when you're done, you're not done. And what you don't want to do is put it out, and then people are reading your book and singing your praises, and within your heart, man, I meant to close it out with this chapter. So take your time, stay patient, and be persistent with it. Okay. You're not up against any deadline except your own. All right. Lastly, before I give you some recommendation or some suggestions rather, read some other memoirs and kind of, because you may not know where to start. Like I know I need to tell my story. I've got so much I can share. I've been through so much. I've learned so much. I've accomplished so much. And I really just want to pay it forward and help others get to where I am. So read other memoirs, because you may have the desire to do that, but you may not have the know-how or the technology to format it. So go to the library or download some memoirs and just read it or glance through it so that you can get some ideas and perspectives on how you want to format yours. And you can look at different styles, different techniques of writing, and that can kind of help you, format how you want yours to look. Attend workshops, writing workshops, connect with other online memoir writers, authors, and, just kind of probe and get some ideas so that, you can put out your best work when you're talking about telling the story of your life. So I hope that those tips helped you. If that's, kind of what you've been contemplating is telling your story and you want to write a memoir, I think that's phenomenal. But you can get stuck in the weeds sometime when you've had like a lot of life things happening. So take your time with it and strategize and sort and organize, and you'll be fine. So a couple of topics, let's just say, because I gave you a few themes. So let's say your memoir is about overcoming some type of adversity. Then here's some title suggestions, and you can use them. Rising from the Ashes, or Against All Odds, Breaking Chains, Through the Storm, Beyond the Shadows, right? And that should kind of, it'll click when you hear it, like, yeah, that's it. And you can mix it up a little bit, okay? If you're writing a memoir about personal growth and self-discovery, then here's some title suggestions for you. Finding My True North. I love that. Finding My True North. Journey to Myself. Becoming Whole. The Path Unfolds. Awakening the Inner Light. And I think Michelle Obama has Becoming Michelle or whatnot. So, that unfolding of your personal journey. How did you get from there to here? Say you're writing this memoir and it's going to be a family legacy. It's primarily, you may publish it publicly, but it's made primarily for your family so that they can stay rooted and grounded in your family values. So here are some title suggestions that may resonate with you. Roots and Wings. I love that. The Ties That Bind. Echoes of Home. Threads of Love. A Tapestry of Memories. I love that. And I'm thinking when I hear a tapestry of memories, I'm thinking of pictures, pictures of, your ancestors, pictures of, folks in the family from, that have gone on home, but just having them, memorialized in that family legacy. What if you're writing a book about travel and adventure? You're just one of those, you've got frequent flyer miles to boot. Like you're just always going exploring these different places, what have you. And you want to write a memoir that captures those experiences. Here are some title suggestions for you. Wandering Soul. Footprints Across the World. The Road Less Traveled. Beyond the Horizon. Journey of a Lifetime. Don't you love that? What if you're writing a memoir about your culture or your heritage, kind of connecting to that memoir about your family legacy? Here's something. Echoes of My Ancestors. In the Heart of Tradition. Bridging Two Worlds. Legacy of the Land. And Voices of My Heritage. All right. I got a few more. Let's say that your memoir is about your healing journey, things that you've overcome. Healing Hands, Healing Heart. The Road to Recovery, Mind Over Matter, Strength in Vulnerability, The Healing Journey. All right, what if you're writing a self-help book about your career or your professional life or, some tremendous life goal hurdle that you've overcome. Listen to these books title suggestions: The Climb to Success, In the Trenches, Blueprint for Dreams, Breaking the Glass Ceiling, From Passion to Profession. I love that. All right. I've got tons more, y'all, but I just wanted to mention those to kind of get your creative mind flowing a little bit. And because for me, let me tell you how I flow with my writing. I develop my title first and then the book comes afterwards. And it's really weird, right? And then there's sometimes I'll draft my manuscript and then I'm like, okay, what in the world can I name this book? But for the most part, I'll have the name and then I build my book around that name. So exciting stuff. Well, you guys, I hope that I have said something to help you along your writer's journey. Feel free to reach out if you need my help, my services with any of the work that you're engaging in. Our website is www.libertyriverend, that's IND.com. And I will be more than happy to connect with you. We can do a consultation and we can get you started. All right. Well, until next time, bye-bye.